Hello everyone, this is William Armstrong here with a a video about odd software that wasn't widely well known or well used too much. This is going to be similar to LGR's Oddware videos and Michael MJD's videos of old hardware and software from early 2000, but I'm going to cover this specific one since I searched InterActual player or PC friendly on YouTube and nothing came up about it, no videos about it hardly, so I decided to cover this one. InterActual Player, originally as PC Friendly, was a media player for Microsoft Windows and Mac OS X, included on some DVDs with movie files. In addition to providing DVD playback control, it makes available extra material on some DVDs, including commentaries, pop-up notes, synchronized screenplays, and games. It requires existing DVD player software, which it embeds in the interface for playing the actual DVDs. The stable release was version 2.6. It started off at version 2.0 or 1.0, but then its last version it got cut off at is December 2006, 2.6, 15 years ago, so it had a cutoff by then. But its official shutdown was 2017. Here it is. The InterActual Player software automatically displays an installation dialog when a user inserts a DVD containing it into the DVD-ROM drive of a computer only. This will not work on a DVD set-top box because the files for the InterActual Player software is invisible to the DVD set-top box itself. If the user chooses to install the InterActual Player, it becomes the default DVD player and creates a shortcut on the desktop and a link to the InterActual website, which is normal. It also asks the user to supply information voluntarily and allow usage data to be sent over the internet. InterActual Player can also be accessed by the internet. Basically, this player was a multiplayer that allowed extra features on the DVD-ROM disc when inserted to a computer. Plus, it also allowed the internet access to different things too, different websites of the movie studios, which was cool. But the software, I criticized this for it sending usage data back over the internet, which is very weird back then. Basically, there's some old links to DVD drive player, archive, PC World forums. There's quite a few old links to it. Here's the different ones. So I'll talk about this one. The analysis of data InterActual sends when it calls home. It's called spyware, as in it would send data back to wherever it went to. I'm trying to access the old links, but here's one called InterActual Player is Spyware. I brought a DVD drive. This is an old article, but it says I brought a DVD drive on a whim yesterday. Installing the hardware was quite pleasing since I had to flex my problem-solving skills a little bit, but not too much. I learned that my PC manufacturer shorted me one IDE cable yesterday morning. I didn't even know what an IDE cable was. Finally, I rented Human Nature to test it out. The first thing that happened after I put my first DVD into my first DVD player, an install wizard opened up and I let it walk me through the installation of a friendly little piece of spyware called InterActual Player. Installation Wizard. This InterActual Player software application allows you to access additional content and features on the disk and from the internet. Me what? I already installed a DVD player. Okay, whatever. Skim through short license, clicks Install Wizard. Please provide us with your anonymous demographic data so we may optimize your software experience to serve you better. Chomp. The InterActual Player collects and uploads anonymous product usage and viewing behavior information to be used and provided to third parties by InterActual for marketing purposes. Warner Brothers secretly holds up hand as if we had to wave hello but extends middle finger instead. P.S. Human Nature is a good movie. You should see it. This article was published back in January 27th, 2003. Back then when it came out. Now here's the last version of InterActual Player for Windows. The last version. IA Player 2.7. 2.7 was the last version for Windows. It is useless, of course, in 2022. But here's what the website looked back in early 2008 to 2003. You can see that this contains version 2.0 of InterActual all the way up to 2.71. This right says here, it says it only works with Windows Vista or above. It only works on Windows XP or lower. It says here InterActual Player requires additional software DVD decoder to work. The recommended one is Windows DVD Player 4 or above. It says InterActual PC-friendly installer was a modified with a 32-bit stub, allowing any x64 systems to complete the install with installation of software. Tinkers will find the original name named as setup16.exe when extracting the contents with WinRAR or 7-zip. It says here, security recommendations. Please consider the dangers of using outdated software under production use systems. Installations under VM machines are recommended. These files are gathered from different sources, both including the internet and through DVD discs. It's basically what this was, a simple DVD player software that was made by InterActual Technologies, Inc. at the time. Back then, it's an old IA player software that would work, known as PC-friendly. It no longer works on Windows, anything above Windows Vista. It would work under Windows Vista and below, but Windows Vista and above it would fail because the software is different. At hardwareanalysis.com, it says DRM at its worst. Here's an article written by Sander Sasson. It's very long, but I'm going to skip down to the point where so I'm going to speed skip down to where it says DRM is actually part of Microsoft Windows XP operating system and has been for a while, but it wasn't until I picked up a DVD and recently that I witnessed the ugly and very user-unfriendly side of DRM in person. The DVD in question, T2 Extreme DVD, is produced by Artisan Home Entertainment, Inc., is a 2 DVD disc set which holds a digitally optimized version of the T2 movie on one disc and a high-definition version of the same movie, second disc, encoded in WMV9 format. As I already own a legitimate copy of T2, that wasn't the reason I brought the 2 DVD disc set. I was looking forward to playing back the HD version, which promises the very best image quality. This would be a great way for me to enjoy the full potential of my HD-capable home theater installation. To make sure I could make use of the full DVD, I double-checked the cover for any requirements on the computer hardware and region-specific coding. The DVD cover was clear about the minimum requirements in terms of computer hardware for playback of the WMV9 content, and since it had no warnings of the content being protected or only playable in certain regions, I saw no reason to not buy it. Unfortunately, after trying to play the DVD back with Windows Media Player 9, I couldn't get it to work. For some reason, I needed to install a third-party application known as InterActual Player that was required to play back the content. I was a bit surprised as to why I needed to install InterActual Player, as it clearly says Windows Media Player 9 on the cover. Why I simply can't play the content back without having to install yet another application. But then it became quite quickly apparent that I did not only have to install and download an update for the InterActual Player over the internet in order to facilitate playback, but I also need to acquire a license. So obviously the WMV9 content in the DVD was protected by DRM and could be only unlocked after connecting to the license server to obtain a license, which failed to do. I was surprised to find that it failed to give me a license, as it had determined that my physical location was not in the US or Canada. Apparently, the content was only to be played back in either one of these countries and nowhere else. After routing my IP address through an anonymous proxy server in the US, however, I managed to unlock the content just as well as I was presented with the license agreement to agree prior to being able to play the content back. So basically, what this was is that InterActual Player was used to play additional content on DVD discs when put into a computer's DVD-ROM drive that had DVD playback capability. They played DVD movies back, or even homemade DVD movie discs too. But the problem was, this particular example of the disc T2 Extreme had a DRM protection. Okay, it asked me to answer a server to continue. I'll exit out. If I zoom in carefully, this is what it looks like. You can see it has extra features on it that it automatically would tell you need to connect to the internet to unlock a license to see the movie. It only worked if you're in US or Canada. If you're outside of the US or Canada, it would lock you out, not letting you view it. This is a fuzzy, zoomed-in version of what it looks like, but it shows Windows Media 9 series, and it shows something about AOL, not AOL, but it's Artisan Entertainment on it, and it shows DVD video. There's the PC-friendly logo right there. It's fuzzy, but you can barely see it. But I'll circle it where it's located so you can see. Right there. So I circle it right there. There's where the PC-friendly logo is shown on the bottom right. Right down near the artisan logo right there. So it's actually shown. So there's where that is. Let me just draw an arrow to point that it's right there. Right where that circle is, that's a bad way to draw an arrow, but right there is where it was shown. So let me turn off the writing. And this is what it looks like. So some DVDs that contain the InterActual player software known as PC Friendly, you would see that little tiny logo that is stuck down the case right there. That's how that worked. Now I'm going to take you to two more articles. One may be not working. Well, one is on the Web Archive Wayback Machine. I cannot demonstrate the software because, one, the software only works on Windows Vista and lower. But some other people have talked about this. Well, this is written on December 1st, 2005. A while back, Michael Arrington at TechCrunch posted about 10 companies that he liked to profile. An interesting list, by the way, which in a roundabout way is similar to what I want, although I'm not going to list 10 pieces of software I like to see. I'm just going to talk about one. Never install. The piece of software I like to see is something that gives me the option to never install a piece of software. I've generally been annoyed when I put a DVD movie into my laptop and rather than the movie starting, a software installer pops up instead. I put in a brand new movie I brought today and the InterActual player installation dialog came up. The thing is, I don't want to install the InterActual player. In fact, I never want to install the player. So what I want is some way of ensuring that if the InterActual player ever tries to run, that my PC will detect it and stop it from running at all. I don't want it. I'll never want it, and I never want it to run on my PC. So basically, this is what it is. The DVD discs that came with the InterActual PC-friendly software would automatically cause you to install the player to see the movie. It basically was a form of DRM, like a digital rights management, that the software would just say, hey, in order to see this movie, you had to do it. Some DVDs insanely insist on installing the player for you, unfortunately. So if you remove it and then pop in a DVD with PC-specific functions, up pops the installer for InterActual. You may be able to choose not to install it, but I come across somewhere they don't give you the option. It just doesn't bloody work on my system, so I never want to use it. I'm lazy, so I just close it when it opens up and fire up Power DVD or Win DVD instead. This is basically on PCWorldForums.co.nz or NZ for people that are in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and Ireland, and the UK. This is what people were complaining about in the PC World forums about how the DVDs carried the software InterActual player that required you to install in order to see the movie. Otherwise, it just wouldn't play unless you use a different player. Now, the VOB file known as DVD Video Object, VOB for short, and then the IFO information file extensions are specific to only video DVDs. So changing them will only affect the video DVDs. If he were to put in a game or data DVD, it won't open in Power DVD, nothing will happen. These are people complained about how the InterActual player software would pop up recommending you to install it. Like it would auto-install. Like if you click install it, just auto-install it and launch it. InterActual Technologies required this. When you put a disc in, it would just pop up. Different movies had InterActual player software that would require you to install. Like, it wouldn't auto pop up the DVD player software to start playing the movie. It would just bring up a prompt to install it. That's basically what InterActual player was doing. Now, I liked the software InterActual player. I did because it gave me extra PC features that are unavailable on a DVD set-top player that would not be accessible from the player of a DVD set-top, but obviously that's just how it worked. This is what it looks like. This is a 2006 revision. Let me jump back to 2005 capture of the site. Well, I'm going to jump back to a 2003 capture. This has 288 captures. But this is what the site looked like back in the early 03, 02. That's basically what it looked like. This is about the player. This is an old Windows Mac OS X player that would only run on those two platforms at the time. I'll zoom in so you can read. InterActual Player 2 Plus included a integrated Sonic Solutions Cine Player DVD engine playback. It had highest quality DVD video playback. It ran on Windows XP in 2000. InterActual Player is the industry standard player, which was only a Windows Mac player. It basically enables DVD unlock to extra data where it gave you skins. It gave DVDs to live beyond their original release dates. Like, it basically enabled DVDs to go beyond their original release publication. See, these are the different skins you would get. If you had Terminator 2 Extreme, you would get access to an online Skynet combat chassis designer. You would get the high-definition version of the movie. You'd use your own digital photos with the T8 Match Movie Studio, the T8 1000 Morph Studio. You'd get access or features like Harry Potter: The Chamber of Secrets. You'd get extra credit ROM exclusives, voice-activated navigation capability, Harry Potter 2 game demo. You get 7 interactive challenges, online traded cards, printables, and quick. It's quick with the K and then quick with the Q. Hard to say without stumbling over the word quick. It's a weird way to put it. It's QWIK, or KWIK, QUICK, but this one's Spider-Man by Columbia TriStar that has a comic feature comparison, record your own commentary, which you could do with that Spider-Man movie. It had a built-in visualizer, it had a link to Spider-Man DVD portal, it had an Activision game demo, it had 3 Marvel dot comics. Like, that's the extra DVD-ROM data that was only available on a PC. This would be unavailable to you on a DVD player set-top box, however. That's what that is. So these are the different versions of it. Like this. These are only compatible with Microsoft Windows Vista and lower. Above that, it won't work. I actually did have a eMachines desktop computer that had a CyberLink Power DVD program that was eMachines branded by eMachines on the original install of the OS from the factory of eMachines when they made the specific model I had that had the capability in it. Now, what also will tie in a little later is that this company, InterActual Technologies, was absorbed by Macrovision, or absorbed into TiVo Corporation, which formerly known was Rovi Corp, ROVI, which was previously known as Macromedia, or no, not Macromedia, Macrovision rather. Correction. But let me jump to 2004. I'll give you an example of one of the DVDs I had as a kid back then, prior to YouTube became a thing and other streaming services became a thing back then. I'll give you some examples. The Spy Kids 2 Island Lost Dreams had a built-in InterActual player software that would install the player on the existing DVD player software on top of it, but it would give you additional features to it, unlike playing it in a standard DVD player such as a PS2. Like, the PS2 was a DVD player, or a standard DVD player set-top box could not access the InterActual player software because it was Windows and Mac only. Mac had access to it, Windows did too. And it also worked on Windows Media Center Edition as well. So this was compatible with Windows MCE, Apple OS X. And it says here, if you use a DVD encoder that does not have InterActual player integration, you can still enjoy InterActual features by installing the InterActual player software included on the DVD separate. Basically, you can install it separate, or if the DVD encoder did not have the DVD encoder capability did not have InterActual integration, you could still enjoy the InterActual features without the InterActual integration. Actually, speaking of which, I had a CyberLink Power DVD program for eMachines computers only that were Windows XP Home Edition. It basically integrated with the Cyberlink Power DVD player. It did an integration with it. It actually had the integration capability where it would install the player and use it instead of the built-in system DVD player on the OEM image of Windows XP on the eMachine's computer I had. It would use that player. So instead of that eMachine Cyberlink Power DVD crap, it would open up InterActual Player when installed and inserted. It detects it's a PC-friendly disk. It would open up that program automatically, directly, and start. But this is compatible with 98 SE, Me, and XP. The bare minimum is you'd have to have a computer with direct show compatible DVD player, decoder, and DVD-ROM drive. The system has to be able to play DVD video minimally to enjoy the features of InterActual Player. Now I'm going to give you some more examples by 2009 of what the site looked like then. Now InterActual DVDs. So here's the section of it. It's coming from web.archive.org, so it's coming off of there. These are all the movies that carried the data that needed to run on the computer. Even some kids' movies did. I actually had Spy Kids, Spy Kids Island, or Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams came with it back then. Let me go to early 2001, back at the time. I did used to go to this site a little bit back in 2004 when I had that DVD PC friendly disc that had that stuff. I used to interact with the website's DVD on the actual disc on the computer only without connecting to the internet to access the main DVD site, which worked. I think one of the Friday movies, Friday After Next, had it. A Scooby-Doo movie had it. I forget which one. This stuff has been so long ago that the DVD player InterActual friendly is no longer in use anymore. InterActual. I'm confusing InterActual with intellectual, rather, even though it's InterActual. The way it's named is a little odd, but this is what it looks like. This is an archive of what InterActual Player was known for. It was known to bring you bonus DVD-ROM content on the disc that you couldn't get anywhere else other than the computer. These are all the titles. Even Dora the Explorer had it as well. Beavis and Butthead, all these DVD titles you see here, back when they came out, had that. Even a Hot Wheels movie had it. It's called DVD File. The separate site, it's archived by web.archive.org too. This is also archived. The site's no longer available for public view, but it's only available through the Web Archive Wayback Machine. It's the only way you can be able to see this stuff. Now, of course, let me find one that had, like, Osmosis Jones, the movie. That was one of those movies that had ability to have the InterActual Player preloaded on the disc during manufacture, during the production of the DVD, released in stores. There's a lot of them to name here, so I'm going to jump to one or more. There's a Kangaroo Jack Good Day USA one. There's a SpongeBob one in there. There is the Ultimate Matrix Collection that had it, that contained that software, preloaded on the disc. A kids movie by the name of Mucha Lucha, Return of the I can't, dang it, I'm trying to say Return of I can't pronounce the other part after the L. I can only say Return of Malefico. I'm not pronouncing that right. Sorry. Catwoman had it in there. There are tons of movies that had it. To identify what the InterActual DVD player software looked like, I'll give you an example. Let's just use Pirates of the Caribbean, this movie. This one, The Curse of the Black Pearl. This is what it looked like. This is the Enhanced Computer Features DVD-ROM menu for computers with DVD-ROM support. The DVD playback, though, itself. This is a skinned example of the Pirates of the Caribbean having its own skin embedded on the disc that injects its own skin into the InterActual Player software, giving you extra bonus goodies. You like script scanner directly. It had storyboard viewer. It had a Dead Man Tell No Tales, a history of the attraction video. It had capabilities of bonus goodies such as an image gallery that you would never see on a DVD player if you put it into a basic DVD player set-top box. You have Moonlight Becomes Ye. You can import pictures based on a headshot like that. You could do that with that at the time, which is pretty cool. Or you could send it to your friend via email or save it to your computer. You could do that, which is pretty fun. It had a Disneyland Pirates virtual reality viewer. You could also interact. Picture dependent, you could do that. It had online support, technical support with that. So basically it had a lot of features you could do. Now, if you here's to identify it, I'll show you. If you see these two logos, InterActual or PC-friendly logo, this indicates that the movie you have has that capability of being played on the computer with the PC-friendly support and InterActual ability. It brought you interactive screenplays, games, current filmographies, virtual screenings, and celebrity chat events that let you play with your DVD movies on your computer than just to watch them, which was... Watching a DVD movie is fun, but it really was not that fun because it didn't have extra features. It didn't too much that let you play with your movie, like such as view bonus stuff, play games, virtual screenings, like extra goodies you wouldn't get if you put it into a basic PlayStation 2 at the time it was around, and or a set-top box DVD player. Even when PS3 came out, it was also be able to be played on the PS3 back then in 2006 when it was still supported back then, but you wouldn't get the DVD-ROM features that you would get only on the PC. This was PC specific to the computer. Of course it was. It was never meant to be on anything other than the computer. Now, Around the World in 80 Days had it. It's like all these have different set features. There's too many in this list, which would make the video too lengthy. But the video I had is The Haunted Mansion. This is the one I had. So I'm going to take you to the DVD file review of it, what it was like with the extra software. This video is going to go more in depth about it, since no one else has ever dared cover a program like this until now. I decided to cover it for nostalgic purposes only. Just for a retrospect back in time. Okay, there's the Lost Boys picture of one of the Lost Boys characters down there, a DVD file. This is an old website that no longer is up. It's archived, but let's see if we can find a movie that has that supports. No, that's not it. There's DVD file reviews of some of these titles that have that capability. It tells you what's included on the disc. But unfortunately, not all of them will have that information available. Now, basically, that's what it is. It's basically just DVD player software for Windows and Mac that allowed DVD playback of extra bonus titles, and the skins were included. You had skins that are basic for the player by itself, but when you inserted a DVD movie that had a skin already on the disc, that skin would add itself to the player program on Windows directly. See, these are the different skins you could download for the InterActual player at the time you could. You had the basic light skin. You had thin skins. You had kid skin, which was a shooting star one. You had different thin colored ones. You had the Razor Wind, Ether, Gold, Fire skin. Like these were skinnables, skins for the actual software player that what you could deal with. Of course, the software is long dead. It's been discontinued in 2017 on the Wikipedia article. But that's about it. This is like a 30-minute, like a 29 to 30-minute long retrospective about InterActual player software that talked about how InterActual player was an intelligent player that would unlock those bonus stuff that you wouldn't get nowadays due to streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Discovery Plus, AMC,